History is a collection of stories we agree upon, but some stories are too terrifying to tell. In 525 BC, King Cambyses II dispatched 50,000 men into the Great Sand Sea of Egypt. Their mission, to burn an oracle to the ground. Their fate, to vanish from the face of the earth. No survivors, no bodies, no explanation. For 2,000 years, they were called a ghost story, until the archives were forced to open. Today, we unearth the truth of the lost army. 50,000 men. Imagine the population of a small city, every single one of them a trained killer, clad in heavy bronze armor, marching in perfect unison. They are the elite fighting force of the Achaemenid Empire, the superpower of the ancient world, and they are marching on a mission of vengeance. They walk into the Egyptian desert, a vast ocean of silica and heat, and then they simply vanish. They do not lose a battle. They do not retreat. They are not captured. They are swallowed whole. For 2,500 years, historians, archaeologists, and treasure hunters have asked the same haunting question. How does an army of 50,000 soldiers disappear off the face of the earth without leaving a single trace? This is not a myth from Atlantis or a ghost story. This is the historical enigma of the lost army of Cambyses, a mystery that pits the arrogance of a king against the terrifying, indifferent power of nature. To understand the magnitude of this disaster, you have to understand the man who ordered it. The year is 525 BC, and Cambyses II, the son of the legendary Cyrus the Great, has just conquered Egypt. He is not a man known for his patience or his mercy. According to the ancient historian Herodotus, Cambyses is a mad king, a tyrant who views the sacred traditions of Egypt not with respect but with contempt. After seizing the throne of the pharaohs, he turns his eyes toward the Siwa oasis, a small, isolated patch of green deep in the western desert. In Siwa, there is an oracle, the Oracle of Amun. This isn't just a temple, it is a political powerhouse, a voice of the gods that can legitimize kings or doom them. The priests there have refused to bow to Persian rule. In a fit of rage, Cambyses doesn't just plan a raid, he splits his massive invasion force. He takes his main army south to Ethiopia, but he detaches 50,000 of his finest infantrymen with a single, brutal command. March to Siwa, enslave the people, and burn the oracle to the ground. The army departs from Thebes, moving west. At first, the campaign seems routine. These are Persian immortals and seasoned veterans. They are used to long marches and harsh terrain. They carry enough water and grain to last for weeks. For 7 days, they march across the sands until they reach the oasis of El Karga, known in ancient times as the Island of the Blessed. It is the last stop before the true void begins. Here, the soldiers rest, refill their water skins, and look out toward the northwest. Beyond the oasis lies the Great Sand Sea, a desolate nightmare of shifting dunes that look like frozen waves of gold. It is a place where the heat can boil the brain inside a bronze helmet, and where the landscape changes every hour. They step out of the oasis, 50,000 strong, the sun glinting off their spear tips, and march into the unknown. That is the last time any human being sees them alive. Weeks pass. In Siwa, the priests of Amun wait on their walls, scanning the horizon for the dust cloud that signals the end of their world. But the horizon remains empty. In Thebes, the Persian commanders wait for news of the victory, for runners to return with reports of a burning temple. But the desert remains silent. No messenger comes stumbling back. No survivor crawls out of the dunes. The silence stretches into months, then years, then centuries. The only account of what happened comes from the locals who lived on the edge of that desolation. They whispered to Herodotus that a red wind had risen. This is the Khamsin, a sandstorm of apocalyptic proportions that strikes Egypt every 50 years. It is not just wind, it is a wall of solid earth moving at hurricane speeds. On the 7th day, the wind changed. The locals call it the Simoom, the poison wind. It doesn't just blow sand, it steals the oxygen from your lungs. When the storm cleared, the horizon was silent. 50,000 men, their horses, their weapons, and their legacy had simply vanished. Picture the scene. The army is midway between Karga and Siwa. They are eating their midday meal, shields stacked, helmets off. The sky turns a bruised purple. The air pressure drops, making their ears pop. Then the horizon disappears. The wind doesn't howl, it screams. Millions of tons of superheated sand are lifted into the air, blocking out the sun, turning high noon into absolute midnight. The soldiers scramble for their weapons, but they can't see their hands in front of their faces. The sand is everywhere, in their eyes, their mouths, their lungs. Panic sets in. The formation breaks. Men try to huddle together, but the dunes are moving, shifting like water. As they lie down to protect themselves from the flaying wind, the sand piles up over them. Countless expeditions went out. German explorers in the 1800s, British adventurers, modern archaeologists, all came back empty-handed. The desert keeps its secrets. For 2,500 years, the desert kept its secret. Skeptics claimed the army never existed, that it was merely a piece of propaganda designed to explain away a military failure. But in 2009, two Italian archaeologists, Angelo and Alfredo Castiglioni, stumbled upon something that shouldn't have been there. They weren't looking for a ghost army. They were looking for a lost trade route. Instead, they found a massive pile of human remains, bronze daggers, and silver earrings. Sheltered by a massive rock formation, they found the last stand of Cambyses' warriors. Hundreds of men had huddled here, trying to escape the Simoom. This wasn't just a discovery, it was a forensic crime scene from the ancient world. The archives were finally revealing what the sands had swallowed. For centuries, we were told Cambyses was a madman and his army was a victim of divine wrath, but modern archives suggest a much darker truth. Some experts, like Dr. Olaf Kaper, believe the sandstorm was the greatest cover-up in ancient history. He argues the army wasn't swallowed by nature, but by an ambush. The theory? A rebel Egyptian pharaoh destroyed the 50,000 Persians in a massive coordinated slaughter. A defeat so embarrassing, the next Persian king, Darius, invented the sandstorm story to save face. Even today, the controversy rages. When the Castiglioni brothers announced their finds, the Egyptian authorities dismissed them as unfounded. Why? Is it to protect a legacy or to keep the desert's true history buried? 50,000 men are still out there, under the shifting dunes. Some say the sandstorm was the end. Others say it was just the beginning of the lie. The archives are open, but the truth is still fighting to be heard. Subscribe to Hidden Archives HQ. We don't just report history, we unseal it.
This is a very, very, very important discovery. It's not just important for Egypt, it's important for the world.
Hidden Archives.